Well, crap. It's been a crazy week since we did our last live stream. Bitcoin has been doing some pretty crazy stuff. And I know a lot of people are freaking out right now, man, or have been at least over the last few days. A little more freak out on the timeline when we got down under 60K the other day. But hey, it's crypto, it's Bitcoin. These things happen. But I want to dig into the big story here. What's actually going on in the cryptocurrency markets? The big things that I think a lot of people are not seeing, because when the price starts going down, we stop seeing the forest from the trees. And the trees are pretty cool. Right? So it's nice to see the small picture as well as the big picture sometimes reverse that around. So we're going to be talking about the big picture here for Bitcoin, as well as some of the micro nuanced stuff. We're getting all the words jumbled up here, guys. Nice to see everyone back. Of course, today we're just going to be talking about largely Bitcoin in today's stream. Of course, answering your questions and whatever the heck you want to talk about in the second half of the stream. So stick around for that fun. But tomorrow, I thought there's so much altcoin news that's happened over the last week. We got to do a whole stream just on altcoins. So that's going to be tomorrow. Unless there's some wild, shocking Bitcoin news between today and tomorrow, then we'll just talk about altcoins tomorrow. Today is going to be largely a Bitcoin-based stream because there is some big stuff going on for Bitcoin. Let's just get into it without any further ado. Welcome back, everybody. Nice to see you. So look at this chart of Bitcoin. What a thing, man. We got all the way down to just around $59,700 the other day. At that point, freak out on the timeline. Everyone's losing their minds, man. What's interesting for me, as somebody who casually watches the markets, commentator on the markets, all kinds of stuff, it's 20% drawdown, guys. I know. If you haven't been in crypto for a while, or you got into crypto at 70K, right? First time buying Bitcoin. I'll buy a Bitcoin BlackRock ETF, $73,000. Let's go. At $73,000, BlackRock had $1 billion inflow. $1 billion. Now, of course, prices are down. Nobody wants to buy Bitcoin anymore. Human psychology is ridiculous. What is wrong with us? Anyway, price went down 20%. That happens. Can the price go down more? Well, there's something. Our little triangle on here. Our triangle broke to the downside, as we were talking about at great length. Statistically speaking, that triangle pattern would have be a continuation pattern, but that's like 2/3 of the time. The other third of the time, this happens. We break down, which is exactly what happens. Let's take our triangle off. Goodbye, triangle. Goodbye. We'll draw some new lines on there later. So we have broken down under the 50-day exponential moving average. Yellow line on the chart here. Currently, Bitcoin is struggling to try and maintain momentum above the 50-day EMA. A failure here would be a failed retest to reclaim the 50-day EMA, which could lead to more downside price action. Maybe even just a retest of these lows, potentially lower. So we want to keep an eye on this, see how things play out over the coming days. We could just hang around in this area. It is a very important area of price point right here around $64,000. So you can see it was resistance back here in February. We saw it acting as support here in March, support here in April, support back here in the earlier part of March too. So it's a very important price area where we are right now, both as resistance and, of course, as a line of support to reestablish as support. So we'll be keeping an eye on that price action. The 50-day EMA, very important line to reclaim. However, worth noting that retests of and dips below the 50-day EMA in a bull market cycle are totally normal things. Okay? So let's see. Is this just a retest? Or are we going to lose it in a more significant fashion? Everybody, of course, always tends to get overly pessimistic when price goes down and overly optimistic when price goes up. That's how it is. Okay? That's how it is. Anyway, check this out. We are now back below the zero line for the MACD, which is good, which is very good to see. We like seeing that. That's very nice. Great. That means when it does get a bull cross, and we've had so many, will it, won't it moments. Will it back here at the end of March? No. Will it here in early April? No, again. Will it now? I don't know. But once it confirms and we get it happening with some decent volume, especially below the zero line, that is a much stronger signal. So let's keep an eye on that. Okay. So that's the price of Bitcoin right now. That's what's going on in the charts. None of this stuff really worries me. It's all pretty normal in a bull market cycle. If it's your first rodeo, you might be a bit freaked out. If you've been around here before, you might still be a bit freaked out, but you know the big picture. Okay. And this is like your third cycle or something like this. You're probably just watching your grass grow while the price of Bitcoin does day-to-day price stuff, man. Chris Berniski shared a great chart. He said, in case the lettuce hands need a reminder. The lettuce hands, not even good enough to be paper hands. Your lettuce hands, no. Anybody can sell at any time, obviously. Let's not do sell shaming in this market. But if you do want to sell and profit as much as possible. Anyway, these are previous cycles. We can see here, Genesis to 2011 cycle. Look at the run up. Huge run up. You can see the similarity. 2011, red. 2011 to 2015, huge run up. We got the 2015 to 18 cycle. That's the blue line here. Again, huge run up. The 1822, that's the green one here. Huge, huge run up. So Bitcoin halving just happened. Happy Bitcoin halving to all those who celebrate. By the way, happy Bitcoin halving. But look where we are right now in the cycle. We are all the way over here. So you're going to tell me that we're here and that none of this is going to even vaguely rhyme for the future cycle of this market. No, nothing's going to rhyme at all. We're going to zero. Cycle's over, blah, 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 something war somewhere, blah, 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 something the Fed. We may not get there in the way that you think we're going to get there. It never works out quite the way you plan or assume that's going to happen. There's going to be all kinds of chaos and volatility and wildness happening between now and, well, going up in this direction, isn't there? But we will go in that direction. Only question is how long it takes and when the big moves start happening. Okay? Great chart here from Neste pointing out, reminder that dips around the halving are golden opportunities. Looking back at previous Bitcoin halvings and the dips that we had then. This kind of price volatility is pretty standard to happen around halvings. Now, I know this time we got an extra bit of freak out because the war. Everyone's losing their minds, man. Willie Woo pointing out Bitcoin down 10% immediately as the outbreak of the Iran-Israel conflict. When Iran struck Israel, everybody freaked out. Then Israel struck Iran back, but the Iranians were like, nothing really happened. I think they want to de-escalate, particularly. They're not super interested in having a war, it seems, at the moment anyway. Hopefully, cooler heads prevail. Obviously, war is horrific, and everybody rooting from the sidelines. Hey, man, more war. Yeah, let's go kill these people. You're crazy. Okay, let's all just be chill. Okay, come on now. Come on, let's just go make money, flipping our shit coins and playing with magic internet money. Okay, it's a much better life to live than all this crazy that happens out there. Anyway, crazy does happen, unfortunately, in spite of our best wishes here on the internet, right? But crazy does happen. And when crazy happens, we as investors and traders in these markets have responses to those. Generally, when there's a threat of war, markets immediately react badly. But in this scenario, it's interesting. Russia invading Ukraine, there was this 10% dip, and then markets basically recovered a couple of days later. Similar so far price action with this current conflict. Now, the problem becomes, the danger becomes that if things heat up again, because strategically, Iran is much more important than Ukraine, not diminishing Ukraine. I'm just saying the reality is they control access to the Persian Gulf, where 30-40% of the world's oil flows out of every single day. If that were to shut down, that would be wildly problematic. Okay. Just keeping that real. So there are still things that could happen if the conflict were to escalate. But it seems that right now, most people want to de-escalate, which is a good thing for the market. So obviously, macro realities come into play, and we have to pay attention to them as responsible investors. Still, though, we have largely recovered from this for the moment. So let's just hope that continues to be the case. Okay. want to share this post with you here from CRG. Yesterday was simply a market-wide de-risking in the face of war escalation. This is from a few days ago. I saw this post we're sharing. But bear in mind, we're still embarking on a global liquidity and rate cutting cycle. Yes, rate cuts will come. Couple this with supply-demand imbalance from the Bitcoin halving. Yes, already huge amounts of demand for Bitcoin. Supply just got cut in half for miners. Okay, their ability to produce new Bitcoin and emit them into the market, that kind of supply, right? Introduction of spot ETFs. It's so big. And we're going to break that down because it's absolutely massive what happened in Hong Kong and what the implications for that actually are. If anything, current geopolitical tensions will cause Powell to be much more dovish, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, and be more supportive of markets. Nothing has changed. None of us are bullish enough. That is the kind of bull posting I'm here for, man. Let's do it. Coin Mamba, by the way, also pointing out, but apparently Binance sold about 16,000 Bitcoin last week. I'm sure they did that in a relatively responsible way. It's not like there was market dumping that, but still they did do that. Anyway, so they have transitioned their SAFU fund, whatever, from Bitcoin and other things into USDC, I believe. So it's all stable coins now, which I suppose is actually a lot better in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, that is what it is. So maybe they were adding to that sell pressure a bit last week. Now, before we get into the big ETF news, if you're not yet signed up for the Wealth Master newsletter, you gotta get checked out. Best damn newsletter in the cryptocurrency business, if I do say so myself. I know it's my newsletter, but it's still the damn best, guys. It's absolutely awesome. So it is free. You can get signed up for free and start partaking of my team's research. We got a team of 10 people working on this thing. We got all kinds of stuff for you every single week. Deep dives on altcoins, NFT mints, DeFi tutorials, all kinds of research reports, alpha on airdrops and meme coins and all kinds of stuff. And the news. We also talk about the news. Surprise. If you want to join our 120,000 plus weekly readers, you can use the link in the description to sign up for free. Check it out. So, thanks. Let's get into it. The rest of the news before we dive into your questions. So, Trader Tardigrade here shared a nice little chart just to give you, again, big picture idea, right? By extending Bitcoin previous RSI cycle tops in 2017 and 2021, we get the next potential top may happen before 2025. This, of course, comes back to our accelerated cycle theory. Anyway, if it does, that'd be pretty interesting. But regardless, the price goes way, way higher in that situation, whether it happens sooner or later. I'm still on the 4-year cycle bandwagon until proven otherwise, although I am open to a double top cycle theory where we have an early top, late 2024, 90, 120K, something like that. Then we see a 40, 50% correction for Bitcoin, deeper for altcoins before going on later in 2025 for a wild, massive, just stupid, crazy blow off mega top. $5 to $10 trillion market cap. We shall see. Would not be surprised though, but we'll see how we go. Open to the idea, let's say. Right now, 4-year cycle, relatively standard until otherwise proven. So, here's an interesting one. Hong Kong approves spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF application. That was from, Watcher Guru reporting on that, but this is GCR's tweet being brought up a year later, talking about how Asian markets are wildly important and should not be ignored during this market cycle. He says, I believe China and Asia in general will fuel the next run. It will take quite some time to melt Western cynicism towards this space, but the East is ascending and yearning to flex. You should be hanging out in WeChat. Many future pumps will be on coins that none of your circle know. Remember, I think we shared this tweet of his around the time that it happened last year. And with the approval of spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in China, Hong Kong specifically, but that gives mainland money access to these markets. Huge news. By the way, can we just take a moment to point out that the SEC just, again, screwing over regular people. Hong Kong is allowed to have Ethereum ETFs, but in America, you got to be protected. Okay, the SEC is protecting you, man. Do you feel protected? Do you feel free? Do you feel free in America right now, where the SEC is telling you, no, your children, okay? You're not allowed to invest in token sales. You're not allowed to get airdrops. Okay, you're not allowed to invest in pre-IPO stocks. Sit down, children. Let the big boys make the decisions for you. Yeah, go down to the casino. Go down to the casino. Spend all your money down there. Oh, you want to make some money? Go buy some lottery tickets. Come on, you take your whole life savings down to the corner shop and buy lottery tickets today. But how dare you invest in an Ethereum spot ETF or a token sale? Criminal. You know, the theory behind a democratic republic is that they're supposed to represent you, but they don't. They just represent the banks. They represent the oligarchs, right? They represent the corporations. They don't represent the regular people. We know this. We're not going to get off into the weeds on topics of government and governance, but it's a damn crying shame that the SEC does this to people in America. It's one of the biggest, most vibrant crypto markets in the world, and it's one of the most screwed ones at the same time. Anyway, Asian markets, absolutely massive. Do not fade them. Fade Asia at your peril, especially when you realize that the Hong Kong ETF is going to kick off a lot more approvals, in my opinion. Now, we've talked about South Korea, the party that was promising to deliver spot Bitcoin ETFs for South Korea. They won the election 2 weeks ago. They're going to bring Bitcoin ETFs to South Korea. Japan, the guys at 21 shares, starting the rumor already. Japan could be following hot on the heels. I mean, is Japan really going to want to miss out? Japan's always taken a very regulated approach to the crypto industry anyway. I'm surprised they haven't done ETFs sooner. But with Hong Kong and Korea getting in the game, can Japan afford to miss out? Probably not. They'll probably have to get on board. Singapore is wildly crypto friendly. And actually, pretty surprised Singapore hasn't done an ETF either, but they will. And if you have a situation in where Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, and Singapore, the biggest, most influential, richest markets in Asia, East Asia in particular, I know Saudi and stuff in West Asia, okay, but anyway, we're talking East Asia here. These guys all have ETFs in the markets. They don't even have to be as big as the Wall Street one, okay? They can be a fifth of the size, a tenth of the size, and they're still going to buy more Bitcoin combined than the miners can produce every single day. Just them. Then Wall Street has to come in and fight for the rest of the scraps. What do you think happens to the price in this situation? All these ETF products coming to the market globally. Strap in. It's going to be a crazy ride. It's going to be a crazy ride. Also, this is interesting. So, and yet another bitch slap to the face to Americans, essentially. The Hong Kong ETFs are in kind. That means that you can deposit your Bitcoin without incurring a taxable event and borrow against your shares from a bank. That's massive. Think about all, guys, in case you don't know, maybe you're not familiar about this. I know we don't talk about the Chinese markets very much. China, in spite of all the crackdowns that the government has done, is one of the absolute biggest crypto markets in the world. It has thrived in spite of unprecedented crackdowns that would have basically, in many other countries, stopped people from trading crypto. Chinese crypto investors and traders and miners have not stopped. Maybe it's got harder for them, but they find a way. And China remains one of the biggest markets in the world for crypto. And China is one of the biggest miners in the world still of crypto. I know there was the big official crackdown was that 21. All the miners had to leave. They all put their equipment on planes and flew it over to Texas. And then slowly but surely it's been creeping back in. There is a huge amount of crypto wealth in China that is now going to be able to take their Bitcoin, take it to Hong Kong, put it into ETFs, and get it all, let's say, rubber stamped with legitimacy. So all those guys who are mining all that Bitcoin for all those years, They can now bring it in, do an in-kind contribution, get a Bitcoin ETF in return, and yeah, they have to pay fees on that. So it's a win-win for the bank. Yeah, bring us your Bitcoin. We'll bring it into the markets. That's fantastic. And we'll charge you a fee on it. But now you can say, hey, I've got this Bitcoin at the bank. And remember, Hong Kong has become very, very crypto friendly almost overnight. This is going to bring money into the markets. You watch. You watch. Again, doesn't happen overnight. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight. None of this stuff happens overnight in the crypto markets, guys. We're talking about titanic movements of money and capital and all this stuff, okay? But let's fast forward this a year. And a year is nothing. I know in crypto, we all want to get rich overnight. I get it. But in investing, a year is nothing. Where are we at with this in a year? I think in a very exciting place. That's where. Andrew Kang pointing out in a few weeks, I think you can expect these buying opportunities, huge gifts, 60K BTC, $130 Solana, $2.30 dog with hat, $6 ton big Telegram news. We're going to cover that in the stream tomorrow. He said we'll have an onslaught of ETF approval headlines as the rest of the countries follow the lead of the USA. The second wave of ETF inflows will kick in as wealth and asset management teams are cleared to solicit new customers for the ETF and rumors of mainland China access to BTC ETFs start to bubble up. We are going to see crazy, crazy money coming to this markets. Okay, so get ready. And another tweet here from GCR. He says he's been sidelined. I believe this is a good opportunity to scale into high conviction tokens. If you don't know who this guy is, he ran an account for like $1,000 to like $120 million or something in the last couple cycles. So, he's got a pretty good performance record. He says if you're fully invested, just survive. Hold your spot positions. Do not capitulate. A lot of people capitulate when things get rough in this market. He said someone once said liquidations are forced transfers of wealth from traders who need leverage to wealthy spot buyers. He said, I was enjoying retirement from social media, but don't want to see my brothers get shaken out when the future is still so bright. There you go. Great words of wisdom there from a very successful trader in the market. If you can scale your time horizon by a few more years, not a few days, okay? If you're only thinking in days or weeks, you're probably getting your ass handed to you left, right, and center in this market. If you can think, where can my investments be in a year, 5 years, 10 years, and not all coins are designed to hold 5 or 10 years, okay? But if you can think in those terms, your chances of massive success in this market become almost certain. Okay. So, all that being said, it's time. Oh, things are spicy. Let's do some questions. What do you guys want to talk about today? Shout out to everybody on the stream, of course. I see 5,700 people out here. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. So thanks for joining the stream. Okay. Julian says, so hard to buy the dip with no money. Lol. Yeah, I know. There are options. I mean, aside from just selling a kidney or something like that, don't sell your kidney, okay? You're probably going to need it. Obviously, there's things you can sell around the house you probably don't need. Come on. There's things you can flip. There's always something out there available to flip and find ways to find funds, make money, take extra shifts at work, whatever. Plus, if you have crypto assets already, you can actually take loans versus those assets, which is dangerous, liquidation prices, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're very conservative with the money you take versus those, you might find a way to add a little bit to positions without taking very much risk. Obviously, you need to understand the risks. You can lose all your money, all that kind of stuff. But, throwing it out there as an idea. Benji, the original dog, man. The oldest dog meme. Benji. It's a meme on base, by the way. Okay, where are we at? Mr. Halo Zion says, I'd love 2 more years of accumulating. Yeah, wouldn't we all? Daniel, did you start farming arrow yet? Yes. I did. It's good. I like it. I want more. How long can they keep the emissions that high? We shall see. But currently, it's still $600 million market cap. It's not even $1 billion yet. It's crazy. I feel like I want to put more money in. I've already put a decent chunk of money in. I feel like I want to put a lot more in though, but I need to control myself. Don't want to put too much in one app, right? But so far, so good. Thought that was Cardano for a second. Savage Viking, remember to take profits starting before the top because exchanges will shut down during the fall and you'll be stuck holding your bag repair. Yes, well, especially if you have things that can only be traded on exchanges. A lot of things be traded on chain these days, which is good. More and more stuff. I spend honestly, I spend most of my time on chain. I do some stuff on centralized exchanges. Sometimes I might prefer if I'm going to do a trade with leverage or something. Usually want to do that on like Bybit, for example. It's me personally. I find it's just a little bit of a nicer experience. Although I have been pushing through a bunch of trades and like WooFi and LogX and stuff like that, mainly to farm the orderly airdrop. But they're fine. They work totally fine. On chain's cool too. But yeah, I do most of my spot purchases on chain these days. Sarah Gio says, what do you think about Father Meme? It's an interesting one. Father Meme could be, what's $5 million market cap or something right now? I was actually looking at this one earlier. Could be an interesting play. I know that they've been like doing some co-marketing stuff with Brett, which is the biggest meme coin on base right now. By the way, guys, I own Brett. Okay, I own Benji, and I've got an ambassador with Benji and stuff like that. You can see my full disclosures down below in the comments, the description on YouTube, or the pinned comment on X. You can find my full portfolio, all the coins that I currently own, all my venture investments, all that kind of stuff, all the conflicts of interest you may want to know, because guess what? I'm an investor in this space. I invested deeply across the space, and I have all kinds of conflicts of interest when talking about the different things I'm talking about. So keep that in mind. You can go see my portfolio there at any time you want. Okay, so, but yeah, anyway, Father Meme could be an interesting one. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. What do you do if you sold all my crypto? Well, if I sold all of your crypto, I'm jumped easy in. If you sold all your crypto, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are you talking about in specific? It's a tough question to answer. Did you just sell all your crypto on the dip and now you're looking in your sideline? You're going, oh my gosh, what did I do? In that situation, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's tough. These markets are tough. You don't want to sell the bottoms. You want to sell the tops if you're going to sell at all. Okay. But for me, I haven't sold anything. Wow. Okay. I sell little bits of stuff from time to time. Like, I don't know, random things that show up my wallet. Like I sold my parcel airdrop the other day. So I can't say that I haven't sold anything. Okay. Because that would be misrepresentation. I have sold some things like my parcel airdrop. I got another airdrop recently I sold as well. Anyway, but stuff like that. Okay, right. But I'm talking about my main portfolio positions. I haven't sold anything. Every once in a while, I think I sold some staking rewards from Injective last week. Or I think it's not last week, 2 weeks ago now. So last week seems like a blur. Great vacation, by the way. But so I do sell a little bit of things. But in general, the portfolio is being held higher, because I believe we're going much, much higher. But yeah, if you sold on the recent dip, I don't know. Or if you were thinking about selling later, okay, maybe that's the thought. Okay, we're going to go and ride the whole cycle, sell. Then what do? Sail off into the sunset with your wife and your kids. Enjoy your gains, man. If you're sidelined, I don't know what to tell you. What happened to the Perrier? They never sent me a free case. We're on the San Pellegrino now. We're fishing for San Pellegrino. Come on, San Pellegrino, send me a case of the bubbly stuff. No, I don't know. We're switching it up, guys. We're switching it up. Will Solana outpace Ethereum this cycle? I mean, it already has. And I think if we talk on a total percentage gain from here to the top, hard to say. If Solana needs to increase its overall dominance, I think, for that to happen. If Solana dominance stays relatively the same, it'll probably now trace largely with, I mean, you got to think Solana versus Ethereum outperformance at this point in the market. We're not talking anything grandiose. Maybe Ethereum, it's going to go up 400%, something like that from here. And Solana is going to go up 500 or 600%. So we're not talking that Solana is going to 10x outperform Ethereum. It'll outperform, but not dramatically, not at this point. Okay. Are the high Bitcoin transaction fees permanent? No, they won't be. By the way, in case you guys haven't known, Bitcoin's become like stupid with fees recently because everybody's trying to race to buy runes. Runes are the hot new thing on Bitcoin, and people are literally paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees per transaction to get early rune collections, to get runes minted, stuff like that. In the first blocks of Bitcoin, post Bitcoin halving, it was pretty wild. People have too much money on their hands, man, sometimes, honestly. But no, transaction fees will not be permanently higher. Well, I should say they're not going to be this high, but probably going to be higher because there's going to be a lot more demand for block space for people to get runes. And if these things really start taking off, and I know the user experience, yeah, wait, 10 minutes between blocks and stuff, it's not like using Solana, man, is it? No. But yeah, probably be a bit higher. But that's why Bitcoin layer 2s, which are coming, are important. Do I hold Litecoin? No. Would I hold Litecoin? Also, no. Can Litecoin make money? Sure. Are there better bets in the market? I feel absolutely there is. Is Litecoin even deserving of OG status? Well, it's been around for a while. I guess it's got that going for it. Litecoin. You know, I get it. If you're mining Litecoin, rock and roll. If you're mining Litecoin and you're co-mining Dogecoin, yeah, great, fantastic. You're probably having a great time. If you're just looking at Litecoin as something to buy and sell later, you know, it's pretty non-controversial. I think Litecoin's got that going for it. It's kind of boring for me, to be honest. I wouldn't buy it just because so many more exciting things going on in the market. Might as well just buy a meme coin. It does about as much as Litecoin does. And I know you're going to say, well, but it's got low transaction fees and it's a strong cryptocurrency. Yeah, I get that, but why not just use almost literally anything else? Right? But it is a currency. It does transact nicely. It is the master of its own algorithm. It's got some stuff going for it. I'm not totally trashing on Litecoin, just kind of trashing on Litecoin. That being said, look, it probably goes to $1,000 or something this cycle. So if you're buying it now, and you're probably going to do fine on it, but that's just me throwing out some numbers. Obviously not financial advice. But I don't know, man. I just feel like there's so many exciting things in the market. Litecoin just feels stale to me personally. I'm not hating. I want you guys to make money. I don't care what you guys make your money on. If you want to make your money on Litecoin, go make your money on Litecoin. Enjoy yourselves. Make more of it than you know what to do with. I better catch up to the chat here. I'm like 10 minutes behind. All right, here we go. Still no opinion on Jasby. I know people keep asking about it. Still no interest. So no opinion on that. Nicholas says, if you want to make money, you go with the top 10, obviously. I would say if you're wild, depends what kind of money you want to make, what kind of risk you have. If you want to make low risk, quote unquote, for crypto money, yeah, the top 10 is a pretty safe place to stick around. If you want to go buy a yacht and retire money, assuming you're not rich already. Now, look, if you got $1 million, right? And you want to take it and put it into Bitcoin because you know it's going to be worth $1 million as well someday, and you want to 12x or whatever that is your money and turn your $1 million into $12 million, Bitcoin's there for you. And if you got a low time preference, that's probably a nice way to turn your 1 into 12 with, you know, relatively quote unquote low stress. But if you've got 10 grand, 20 grand, I'm sorry, man, but buying Bitcoin's not going to get you the yacht money. It's not going to get you the retire early money. You need to get the riskier stuff, which means you have more potential to lose the money as well. Okay, risk is risk. But the real money gets made during the cycle on the riskier stuff, which you can then take and turn into lower risk stuff to bank your profits, the Bitcoin. So if you believe Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, and you sell a bunch of meme coins, right, to buy a Bitcoin. Well, then guess what? You've taken your low risk money, you've taken your high risk money from the meme coins, turned it into low risk money, and you can still keep that invested. Okay, there's my thoughts there. And W, can't Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Satoshi Vision be used as a layer 2 for runes? Nobody uses those chains for anything anyway. That's the problem, is that nobody uses those chains for anything anyway. If you really want to get, the good stuff where it's going to have good value, well, where's all the value? On Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash or Satoshi Vision. Bitcoin, I mean, be it Who is buying BSV? What's wrong with some of you guys? Come on. Come on. Come on. Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't know how else to put that. It's just he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, but not only proven in court, but come on, dudes. Craig Wright's not Satoshi Nakamoto, okay? Come on. And I know there's gonna be like that one guy who comes up, but actually he is Satoshi Nakamoto. He's not Satoshi Nakamoto. BSV is a giant pile of flaming crap. Okay, let's just keep it straight. Bitcoin Cash, when Bitcoin Cash came out, I said, you know what? Fine. Bitcoin Cash. I understand your vision. I understand what you guys want to do. Peace be upon you. So right, but Bitcoin Cash has not had the success in the market realistically, and they might, ironically, Bitcoin Cash might be one of the next things in the USA to get an ETF if somebody applies for it. Nobody has yet, but it would be a non-controversial bet because Bitcoin Cash is basically Bitcoin with some slight modifications. Why wouldn't it be able to get an ETF? In fact, I'm surprised nobody's applied for one yet, but the money's not there for the ETF companies to apply for. It might be there just from a perspective of, well, you apply for it and you get it, and then people will buy it just because it's on the market, but it doesn't actually make it a high value long-term item for them in the same way that Bitcoin or Ethereum are. So you have to ask yourself, interestingly, with Bitcoin Cash, why haven't they launched Bitcoin Cash ETFs yet? Or Litecoin ETFs? Where are they? We know those are commodities beyond the shadow of a doubt. And yet no one's even bothering to take the time to do it. It's a lesson there, I feel. Five to 20 minutes for a transaction is almost TradFi transaction times. It sure is, man. Oh, here's a great question. Soul says, what, if any, is the most difficult thing you face these days in managing your portfolio? It's just keeping up with everything, to be honest. There's so many things going on. I keep trying to whittle it down, but then I find something, okay, this is, I need to get more exposure here, over here. And so trying to keep the portfolio lean and at the same time efficient in terms of exposure to the right asset classes that I want to be exposed to and exposure to the right trends and narratives in the market. So it's a bit of a balancing act, and it's hard to find the time between all the content creation, all the other stuff that I do to really keep it as up to date as I want to keep it and have the time to sit around and think about it. I'll just, be in the shower thinking about like, what if I do this with that? And like, gotta have time somewhere, right? Okay. Oh, that's a hard call. AVAX or Injective? Look, Injective, obviously much lower market cap by comparison. The difference between AVAX and Injective is that AVAX has wildly higher levels of adoption and progress in terms of the partnerships and the people building on it and all that kind of stuff. I think Injective still has a lot to prove to the market. And obviously the price action has been great on Injective the last year. But AVAX would be the safer bet of the two, and Injective would be the higher risk bet of the two, but with higher potential. Okay, that's my thought on it. Will there ever be a base token? Maybe. Nobody knows. Officially, Coinbase has denied that there will be a base token. If we do get one, it's probably just going to be a useless governance token like all the other layer 2s, except Mantle. Mantle's actually got a good layer 2 token, by the way, just like to point that out. Base, if they do release it, it'll be a governance token. Sure as heck, I'm going to be fee sharing. Man, those guys are making money right now. That's good for my Coinbase stocks. I love it. But I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe there won't be. I really don't care at this point. I think when I first started using Base, it was based on the idea that, well, maybe we're going to get an airdrop one of these days, and that'll be great when it happens. I could care less about an airdrop for Base at this point. Bonus if it happens. And maybe that's why they'll drop one at some point to govern the chain, whoever wants to do that. But for me, I'm just looking at all the great stuff I can do on Base. Go use Aerodrome Finance and ape into all my favorite meme coins. It's great. My Brett bags, my Benji bags. A lot of other stuff coming to Base pretty soon as well. Rainmaker with 2 eyes, by the way. They're deploying on Base soon. Oh, gosh. I was looking at another one of my portfolio companies. The name escapes me at this particular second, but they're also deploying on base. A lot of good companies are coming to base in the near future, so it's going to be where all the hot stuff's happening. I don't need a base token. I just need base to keep narrativing, and the money will come. A lot of meme coin shilling in the chat. Some meme coins are going to do okay. I assume that anytime I buy a meme coin, it's going to go to zero. That's just my base. Well, it's one of my base assumptions of most of the time that I buy cryptocurrencies, except for like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that. You always have to just keep in mind that they could go to zero. So if you are seeing any random meme coins being shilled anywhere, just keep that in mind, including the ones I mentioned. They could all go to zero. I'm currently invested in a few different meme coins. I'm invested in Puff on Mantle, which has been doing got some juicy staking rewards the other day from that. That was good. Brett, biggest meme coin on base, probably going to worth tens of billions. Benji, much lower market cap one on base. Foxy, this is the one on Linea. Very excited about all that stuff. They could all go to zero. I hope not. Of course, I hope that I've thought it out cleverly and I'm going to be invested in the ones that are going to do really, really well. I think those all have great potential. If you haven't looked into any of those four, then go check them out because there's great potential there. Caleb asking, Aero versus Jupe. Interesting question. This will be the last one I'll answer, and we're going to finish up for the day. Very interesting question. Aero versus Jupe. Well, here's the thing. Fundamentally, very different token models. See, with Jupe, it's governance staking, and that is currently incentivized with 100 million Jupe tokens this year, plus they take 75%. That's right, 75% of the launchpad fees, and they're doing basically launchpad every 2 weeks or something like that. Those launchpad fees get paid back to governance voters. Plus, there's also random airdrops to governance voters. I got the Zeus airdrops with like $1,200 or something when I sold it. So cool. Nice. I like that. Solana narrative, great. Much higher market cap currently than Aero. Not much higher, 2-3 times bigger market cap. Not like dramatically, like 100x bigger or something like that, but okay. Aero, undervalued comparatively. Governance, lock rewards and stuff like that. Cool. Great farming opportunity right now. Huge farming rewards. Crazy. Especially providing liquidity into the USDC Aero pool. It's crazy stuff, man. Obviously, there's higher risk pools. I feel like that's a good, like, wild returns plus perhaps slightly less risky. But hey, keep in mind, if you are going to go and participate in that can get hacked. That can go to zero. You can lose all your money. Okay. I always go into any DeFi opportunity with the idea that can all go to zero in a second. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind. I wouldn't put all of my money in there. Right. But put some money in there. So I think they're both incredible opportunities, and I own both. Right? I've got a big bag of Jupe, and I've got a giant farming position on Aero right now. So I didn't make the decision between one or the other. I decided for both of them because I think that both Solana and Base are going to be some of the biggest, hottest trends in this market cycle. And look, there's a lot of other stuff exciting too. I just did a video on that. We got Phantom. Watch out for that. That's going to be big later this year. I'm telling you, watch out for it. Avalanche is doing fantastically still. So look for the beta plays in that. I've got a giant bag of Trader Joe, and that thing just pays out money consistently, and I love it. Trader Joe is life. USDC rewards are rocking, man. I love it. I made so much money this year alone, last year, just staking my Joe and collecting those, raking in those USDC rewards. I love it. Mantle also definitely one to watch out for, just based on the Bybit war chest and all the rest of the backing that Mantle has. And then look for the beta plays on those. But anyway, Solana, Base, they're clear winners at the moment. And I think winners are going to keep winning and narrative keep building. And Jupiter and Aero are the two key beta plays. If you think that either of those narratives are going to have success, these are interesting beta plays to have exposure to, which is why I chose to invest in them, not tell you what to do with your money, but that's what I did with my money. Guys, you're awesome. We're going to finish up there for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next stream. Peace.